My fiancée has no bridesmaids, and it's making her so upset that she wants to call off the wedding. How can I help? My fiancée and I are recently engaged and have been together since we were 18. She's not the bridezilla type, but she has imagined a nice wedding. She's not very social and has no sisters or female cousins, and as a result, she has no bridesmaids. 0. I, on the other hand, have a solid group of guys to be groomsmen, and they're already talking bachelor party. My fiancé won't have a bridal shower, or a bachelorette party, or anyone to go dress shopping with, etc. And it's really bringing her down, and she won't even talk about weddings. Once she said between sniffles, "Can't we just sign a paper at a courthouse?" But I know neither of us really want that. I've suggested having my sisters and cousins as bridesmaids, but they don't really know her well, and likely wouldn't want to. How can I help her? In the comments, you can have a nice wedding without bridesmaids and groomsmen. There are plenty of options between that traditional scenario and just signing a paper at the courthouse. OP says, "I'm thinking that'll be my only option. I just don't want my fiancé to feel lonely." Trishy May says, "My wife and I got married in December. The only people involved in the ceremony were us, the priest, and her sister who handed over the rings. It was a very nice, small wedding. We were both happy to not have people there, and we threw our own little party the night before with her sisters. Also, see if your groomsmen can get their girlfriends or sisters to take over and show her a good time. But since they aren't already friends, make sure you pay for all of it." OP says, "Yeah, I'll ask my buds if they know any women that can help. Even if they're not bridesmaids, I think my fiancé deserves at least a nice party or someone to help her buy a dress." Someone else says, "This is tough. I imagine she's feeling pretty vulnerable right now. One thing I would encourage is to think creatively about her bridal party. She doesn't have to fill it with just female friends or family members roughly her age. My brother was in my, 27 females, party, and my husband had a female friend and almost asked one of his professors to be in his. If you think outside the box, is there anyone else out there important to her who would stand by her side? As for the other things you mentioned, I didn't have a bridal shower and I don't regret it. And I went dress shopping with my mum. Our wedding was a little non-traditional in that regard, but it was lovely and a good fit for us." OP says, "The thing is, her brother is deployed and won't be there for the wedding, and her mum isn't in the picture. She only has her father." Is there a reason that her father can't take her dress shopping? OP says, "He can, and he probably will, but like me, he knows jack shit about clothes." Someone else says, "I wonder if she was really joking about signing the paper at the courthouse. Personally, I've always envisioned having a discreet wedding like that. One idea for a compromise could be just to have you two and witnesses at the courthouse, then have a larger reception/party where the lack of bridesmaids wouldn't be so obvious. Your friends could play some kind of special role, even if they don't have a parallel on her side." OP says, "No, she just wants a wedding. She's just been saying recently that she doesn't deserve one." Oh man, this just gets sadder the more that OP gives us more information on this one. I feel so bad. People are giving really good suggestions and ideas to have a wedding in between just the paper and a full-on ceremony like everyone else does. I hope she's able to listen to him bringing these ideas to her and take them to heart and really consider it. Not just tell herself that she doesn't deserve a wedding. She does! She does deserve a nice wedding that she can be happy with. It's not the end of the world having no friends. There's always time to make more friends later. I wish I could just reach out and hug her and tell her it's gonna be okay. It's a really defeatist and sad mindset that she's in right now, and I hope that OP knows her well enough to know what to say to bring her out of that. And now, onto the update. I didn't expect to update this fast. I didn't expect to update at all, unless something miraculous happened, and it did. In short, I have the best friends in the world. I read through a ton of these comments, but not all, because there was over 1,000, and decided to look for my fiancé's box of wedding planning stuff, because I had a suspicion. Inside the box was all of these magazine clippings of a big church wedding, flower ideas, and stuff like that. And then I saw pictures of the dresses. They were all big, puffy, ornate things that don't seem akin to my fiancé's style at all, but they are similar to the dresses that my sisters wore at their weddings. It all sort of clicked for me. My fiancée probably doesn't want a church wedding or any of these fancy trimmings. She's just trying to win my family's favor. The hell. I really should have noticed this earlier and gotten more involved, I know. My fiancée flew home on Thursday to spend a few days with her dad, as it was Father's Day weekend and all. I couldn't go because of work, so I was alone until this morning. So, real late at night, I called up my buddy Ravi, 26 male. Ravi's my best man. We've known each other since we were kids, split up when we went off to college, and reconnected 3 years ago. We moved to SC, which I'm guessing is South Carolina, so I could join the company that he works for. I just opened up to Ravi. It was really late, but he listened to me anyway, about my worries about my fiancée. He said that it was very likely that she was trying to curry favor with my family, but she probably wasn't going to admit to it easily. He said he would talk to her. I told him that he barely knows her, and he said not to worry and that he would be around tomorrow evening. My fiancée came home happy this morning. She always is after seeing her dad. I went off to work without asking about the wedding, and she set to work on her writing, as she's off for the summer. I got home early, and at like 5 p.m., Ravi came to my house with my other good friends, Carson, Andrew, and Tim, who were 23 to 30 years old male. I know all of these guys from various places, and we're all a solid group. Still, this was unexpected. Ravi came up to my fiancée and said that the guys were taking her wedding dress shopping. We were both freaked out as hell. I had no idea this was coming, and my fiancée looked like she wanted to crawl into a hole and die. She whispered to me, "They won't like me," and I urged her to just go for it. Ravi reminded her that he has sisters. Carson's been divorced, and Andrew's had his fair share of girlfriends, so they know dresses. Plus, he has a lady friend that works at a small boutique where they'd try first. She still didn't want to go, and then he said something like, "Hey, you're marrying our best friend. Don't you think we should get to know you and make sure you're not a ghost or something?" He's not great with tact, but she chuckled a little at that and gave in. They were gone for a while and came back an hour ago. They didn't find a dress, but they looked around the stores for a while, and fiancée found a style she liked, not the puffy ball gown style. They also went out for ice cream, and when they walked in the door, she was joking and laughing with them all. I hadn't seen her so happy in a long time. It was amazing. Then we all sat down together, and Ravi asked her to talk to me about what's on her mind. I still don't know how they got her to open up. She whispered that she didn't really want the big church wedding, that she wanted to wait a little while and plan a small ceremony for just the people that we really cared about. I was all for it. I told her not to worry about bridesmaids or anything. It could be just us. She said no, she wants her dad, the guys, and my family to be there. Andrew, a kick-ass guitar player, said he'd put together a band for us. He asked my fiancée what her favorite song is, and he'd figure out an arrangement. This is the kind of question that she usually dodges, but she blushed a little and actually told the truth. It's Panama by Van Halen, if anyone cares. Girl knows how to rock out. This was the real sign that she's starting to trust them. I don't think anyone knows her favorite song except me and her dad, who bought her Van Halen CDs growing up. I told her that I'd call my family and tell them the church wedding is off. If they make a big stink about it, I don't care. I have my bros and my beautiful future bride, and that's all the family that I need. In the comments, Max Sableeyes says, "Excuse my pregnancy hormones, but I'm reading this and bawling. Damn hormones. My husband is freaking out because I'm like, Ravi, wah wah." He's asking, who the hell is Ravi, and why did he make you cry? I'm sniffling like, he's awesome. I'm crying because he's awesome. Now I've got some explaining to do after my water facet stops leaking. Those are some awesome friends you have there. OP says, I almost teared up myself when she told Andrew her favorite song was Panama. It's such a small thing, but it meant so damn much that she was opening up. Gold Teeth says, that's great. I'm glad things are working out with the wedding. Hopefully your fiancé uses this experience to realize that people do want her around and want to get to know her and care about her. And hopefully this will show her how important friends are for support, etc. OP says, I agree 100%. My fiancé isn't a difficult, unfriendly person, she just doesn't see how people could like her, which I personally find ludicrous, of course. Lufawa says, dude, she has serious self-esteem issues. She sounds lovely, but chatting with a therapist could really be helpful. She's got her whole life to gain confidence and express herself. OP says, I agree. I'm gonna go talk to her about it. Hopefully she'll be more open now than she was in the past. I think the fact that she opened up so much to his friends and could trust them so fast like that means that she is on the path to opening up and being a much more secure person in her identity. And I hope that this is the building block in which she builds her own group, her own community, her own village that doesn't just rely on OP. I'm sure we can all relate to those feelings of isolation that she was going through there, but I really hope that she doesn't give up and doesn't crash even further than where she was previously. Thank you for the story. Thank you for the update, OP. That was wondrously positive. How dare you bring joy and good times to this cesspit. Get out of here, you two, and go have a wonderful life together. Our next post is by user Hard to Follow, and it's titled, I, 26 male, am taking a step back from my friend, 24 female, since they started dating someone. So, I talked to my close friend and suggested that we tone back on our hangouts and chats because they told me a couple of weeks ago that they have officially started dating someone. I'm genuinely happy for her. She told me they've been seeing each other for 6 months and called it official a month ago. Now, before this, we would talk and hang out pretty often, platonically. At least in my perspective, about a few times a week, and almost daily with late-night chats, upwards of 3 a.m. We've known each other for a few years and met at a doctor's office when she noticed me playing a gacha game, and we talked and bonded from our mutual love of games and nerdy stuff. Now, of course, I think both guys and gals can be great friends with, of course, boundaries and lines. However, in my mind, if I was seeing someone, I wouldn't really want them hanging out with and talking non-stop with a guy to this extent, especially if I don't know them. She told me about her relationship a couple of weeks ago and mentioned that her boyfriend has gotten a little nosy recently whenever we would text about stuff. I asked her if she told or showed him our chats and stuff, and she said no because she deserves a private life too. I completely understand that, but we really only talk about games, movies, comics, etc., and it wouldn't hurt just to show him. I suggested it, and she again said no, and that she doesn't really like our interests. That's completely fine, and I dropped it. Though, after informing her that from a guy's perspective, talking to a dude and then hiding the conversations and being secretive about it can seem damn sus. As for the boyfriend, I know next to nothing about him, and she always skirted around any details about him. Our mutual friends know about him apparently, though for some reason she always seems to be pretty secretive about it. Sort of feels like I'm just being left in the dark. I have other female friends in relationships, and this was never an issue. According to her, she just doesn't want us to know about each other, as it may start conflict since she talks to me more often than him. She also mentioned that she tells him that she's hanging out with the girls whenever we would meet up to hang out, which to me is kinda mean and a bit dishonest. So I talked with her further about her relationship, and she's pretty serious about him and loves him. After mulling over it for a few days, I suggested to her that we should probably take a couple of steps back and hang out and talk a bit less, because I want her to focus on herself and her relationship. I do genuinely care for her and want the best to come her way. I also don't really want to be the topic of drama to add to my list of stress. I explained this to her as kind and as understanding as I could, but she just sort of blew up at me and stormed off. Later on, she sent me a truckload of messages, some sad, some angry, some rude remarks on my looks, etc. Yesterday morning, I woke up to some messages from some mutual friends calling me names and berating me for pushing her away. I am so confused right now. Last night, she told me that she wants to talk today. Our mutual friends also seem to stop the harassment too. I think I'll meet her again today just to see what's going on. Is there anything that I should ask her specifically? I do want us to stay friends, of course, and just want to set some boundaries that we may not have initially established. In the comments, Blank Lizard says, definitely establish some boundaries. Let her know that you don't want any part in dishonesty with her boyfriend. I think it would probably help all parties if you did meet, could help put everyone at ease. I think it's a little bizarre that she's keeping you away from him, so I'd definitely ask her why that is. It's also not your job to moderate her relationship with her boyfriend and who she talks to and how often. If boyfriend has a problem with how much she talks to you, that's up to him to bring up. You sound like a supportive friend. I don't think you're overstepping by maintaining that friendship. That said, if she's being cagey over introducing the two of you for other reasons, that's something that you're going to want to find out. OP replies, yeah, this is all just super out of character for her. In my other comment, I mentioned that she had a boyfriend before, and we became good friends, and even gaming buddies. I just want to know if this is really something to blow up our whole friendship over. The blow up also sort of felt out of nowhere as well. Hopefully we can hash things out properly. I'm definitely one of the honesty first kind of people, and she knows this, and that's why it didn't really sit right with me about the lies and such. Boop Boopep says, she seems immature, and like she doesn't care about other people's feelings at all. Everything you listed out that she did is incredibly selfish. Lying to her boyfriend, and then harassing you because you want to put some boundaries up, and on top of that, she had the bombastic audacity to recruit mutual friends to harass you on her behalf. Honestly, you need to call her out on this horrid behavior before it becomes a norm in your friendship. I wouldn't sugarcoat anything. OP replies, yeah, this was a sort of a one-off incident. She's never behaved like this before. Some of the comments from our mutuals also are leaving me confused as well, as if I'm going to completely ghost her. Comments like, don't be stupid and throw away something this good. You just don't understand the sacrifices she's making for you. Her boyfriend is so much better than you, and you know it. That one's just plain weird. It just really threw me off. Boop Boopep replies again, she's acting weirdly possessive of you. I would never talk to a friend the way that she's talking to you. Please think, would you do or say these things to a friend? And if your answer is no, then why are you making excuses for this friend? Because she's never behaved like this before is just your way of trying to minimize the situation. The comments from mutual friends, such as her boyfriend is better than you, did not just come out of nowhere. She's talking negatively about you to others. There's just a lot of inappropriate behavior going on here that should not be excused or minimized. And OP replies, yeah, you're probably right. I don't really know what they talk about, as I don't appear in our friend group pretty often, so I'm not as tightly interwoven with them as her. I've just been thinking back on a lot of things, and started noticing the small stuff when I was more oblivious at the time. She always did this thing where she would tug on my shirt to get my attention, or lightly slap on my back when excited. She would laugh really hard at dumb jokes, and then go real quiet if it seemed like I ignored her, if spacing out. When hanging out in a group with said mutuals, she would always be glued to my side even when I wanted to talk to some others across the room, as well as interject when any of our female friends came up to talk to me about something, and change the subject to something else if she wasn't invested. Thinking on it, it's a tad creepy in a way. Her possessiveness, as you call it, has sort of ramped up since she announced to me that she was in a relationship. One moment that stands out to me now is recently at a party. I jokingly asked her to wingman me tonight, and she vehemently denied in all seriousness, stating, none of these girls are good for you, trust me. I just shrugged it off. Is she keeping me as a backup or something? I really don't see platonic friendships working like this. There's a lot of ways that you could characterize her behavior and deduce what the hell is going on with her, but really, I feel like she's either keeping him as a backup and seriously overstepping the boundaries of their friendship in her relationship, or she's lost her goddamn mind. She's had a snap psychosis, she's gone crazy, and either way, I think you should step back from this friendship with her entirely, OP. And that's not easy because that means stepping back from the friend group that you have. So maybe you should force her out of the friend group point out how insane that she's being to everyone else and get them on your side, but given that she's already poisoned the water against you, I don't see that working out either. You want to avoid drama, there's no way for you to avoid it in this case. Run from it, hide from it, dread it. Drama arrives all the same. I'm sorry that you got a stage 5 clinger by your side. I mourn the loss of the sanity that you once enjoyed before she started ramping up her behavior. And I don't feel bad for the boyfriend that she's with, because he signed up to this, and when shit hits the fan and he finds out what she's really like, that's going to be fun for him. And now, on to the update. So first off, thanks to anyone that offered advice and perspectives to my situation. You guys helped me set my head back on my shoulders and hit the nail on the head. I thought I'd let you all know what happened, so here's the update. We met a couple of days ago and talked at our usual cafe. As soon as I walked in, she seemed really awkward and fidgety. Not a second after I sat down, she blurted out an apology for snapping and storming off, as well as all the other things that were said from her and by our mutual friends. I was about to apologize as well, however, she told me that I didn't need to apologize for anything, and she had to really tell me something and asked me to just keep an open mind. Confused, I nodded. She told me that she wasn't exactly honest to me for a while and that she had been lying to me. It turns out she never had a boyfriend. It turns out that she had liked me for a long time now, but because of how long we've been friends, she didn't know how to bring it up. Our mutual friends decided to help her out and cook up a story about her having a boyfriend to test the waters and see if I would be jealous and awaken my feelings and fight for her. This is becoming a TV drama. No wonder I knew next to nothing about the boyfriend. She was trying to spin the story that she was keeping our friendship a secret as to, in her words, keep the door open for me. She started hinting that her boyfriend started getting nosy and a little jealous of how much we talk, as to start stirring the pot with me. However, that had literally the opposite effect. As soon as I started trying to help her fix her boyfriend issue, she thought it was a good sign and we can start broaching the topic of relationships. I know this sounds convoluted as all hell, and I'm just as confused as y'all are. Though from my perspective, she flatly refused any of my suggestions to assuage her imaginary boyfriend's jealousy. So I just suggested to her that we should just tone us down a bit. This apparently frustrated her, and that led to her blow-up. She vented to her friends, and they harassed me a bit, telling me that I'm throwing away a good thing and all of that. That's when some comments from our mutual friends started making even more sense. At that point, I just had a blank expression, just trying to dismantle the most complicated pickup attempt of my life. So I just asked her, what in her right mind would make this entire setup even remotely work in the real world? Crickets. She just apologized again for all this drama and was bold enough to ask if we can be an item, or at the very least go back to how things were. At this point, I just felt a rolling headache and was still processing everything. I still am, really. I just told her that I need some space for now to just consider this fiasco. Here I am now. I'm probably not gonna date her. I thought she'd known me for long enough that she could have just asked me face to face, and I would have given it serious consideration, but now, I don't think so. That's gonna be my only update on this. I'm still going through with it and taking a step back from all of this, including the mutuals. Thanks for reading, guys. In the comments, Aggravating Style says, I personally wouldn't date anyone who went to these lengths to manipulate me. In fact, I would take a giant step back from the friendship. Wow, can you imagine dating her and how much effort and deception and lies she could potentially put in an affair? Or just trying to communicate as a couple? Holy shit. About halfway through, I was like, there is no boyfriend here. Lo and behold. The moment I read about how hard she was trying to get them to not meet, I thought to myself, no way there's a boyfriend. And those dumbass messages from their friends was such a dead giveaway. Also, it was pretty obvious by how he described her behavior at parties that she was in love with him. Overly laughing at dumb jokes, wanting his attention, and trying to keep it at any cost, etc. Her stunt is the stuff of high school though. I cringed so hard when she confessed. Girl, why was talking not an option? She sabotaged herself so hard. Because she wants OP to make the first move. Just like her plan that she plucked from a young adult romance novel turned TV series, the guy must always ask the girl out or make some convoluted crap to make the guy notice her. And yeah, after all of that, I don't know how she expects him to say yes to going out with her. How delusional can you be to be like, yeah, I sicked the hounds on you, I lied to your face, I started drama in your life when you don't like drama, made it a you problem, and just did so much bullshit. I swear, if we date, everything's gonna be better. You know, that was all just a test, and you passed with flying colors because you tried to help me out of the mess that I created. And I trust you to parent our future children and fix whatever messes I create going into the future. What do you say, baby? You and me against the world? Oh my god, like, I cannot imagine something worse. I will take a gaycation to Ibiza any day of the week. But yeah, thanks for the story, and thanks for the update, OP. That was quite something. I'm glad your sense of self is so strong that you will duck and avoid this bullshit at all costs. Good on ya. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, cool. Thanks for that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.